The U.S. backing of Hosni Mubarak and a failure to do anything about overthrow of the Muslim Brotherhood leave 85% of those surveyed by Pew Research with an unfavorable view of Americans. Egypt's neighbor seems to reflect a similar view in the same survey. American favorability ratings dropped 13 points since 2009, leaving 85% with an unfavorable view of the U.S. A huge influx of Syrian refugees without significant assistance from the U.S. may have contributed to the 73% unfavorable view of America reflected. The U.S. is perceived as fully supporting Israel, which doesn't sit well with Palestinians, as reflected in a 66% to 72% unfavorable rating across multiple surveys. Relations with Russia have been chilly since the Cold War. U.S. opposition to its intervention in Ukraine could contribute to a 71% unfavorable rating. Belarus is friendly with Russia and seems to harbor uneasy feelings about the United States. There is 69% disapprove of Americans. Much U.S. attention has focused on Pakistan since 9/11, and there is a continued military presence there that has resulted in 59% to 65% of Pakistanis having an unfavorable view of Americans. Debt-ridden Greece finds it difficult to embrace any American message of hope, as shown by the 63% unfavorable rating on the Pew Research survey. Since 1979, when Iran seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, there's been no love lost between Iranians and Americans, resulting in a 61% disapproval rating. Since 2007, Congress has placed conditions on annual aid to Lebanon. Such decisions have led to a 57% unfavorable rating of Americans in the country. A majority of Argentinians do not trust the U.S. to act responsibly in the world and give America a 57% unfavorable rating, according to the Argentine Post. According to MarketWatch, Austria has a 55% disapproval rating of the U.S. Slovenians have a 54% negative view of the U.S., primarily because they don't approve of its leadership. That may change with Melania Trump, who was born in the country, serving as First Lady. The anti-Islamic message in the propaganda film Innocence of Muslims, posted online by a U.S. resident, contributes to the 47% unfavorable view of America in Tunisia. Germans have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the U.S. In spite of a 47% unfavorable rating, many Germans simultaneously want to be admired by Americans. With a 47% unfavorability rating, only a little over half of Chile views the U.S. in a positive light. This can cause trouble for America later on, as the U.S. State Department considers Chile one of the U.S.'s strongest partners in Latin America. Australia's 48% unfavorability rating can mostly be chalked up to their dislike of President George W. Bush and President Donald Trump. Most Australians believe that Americans' ambition for power fuels both white nationalists and anti-racist counter-protesters in a confused medley of different views fighting for dominance. Our northern neighbors' 51% disapproval rating stems mostly because from their dislike of Donald Trump and his policies that directly conflict with the country's own. The majority of the Dutch public, 59%, views Americans as ignorant, fat, racist, and paranoid extremists. But they hold out hope that the U.S. isn't just a home for these negative stereotypes. Many Dutch citizens hope that these negatives will be shoved back into the dark holes they crawled out of once Trump is out of office. With a 65% unfavorability, Mexico isn't a fan of America. Again, because of Donald Trump and his xenophobic tendencies. This primarily Muslim country has seen a major escalation in negative perception, with a 54% disapproval rating. Stemming mostly from the wars that have ravaged this country, Iraq's 67% disapproval rating isn't hard to understand. Similar to Canada, right down to the disapproval score of 51%. Sweden views liberal Americans as having a Sweden fetish, as they view it as a liberal wonderland. Donald Trump is also heavily to blame with the alienation of this democratic country as well. You'll find he's actually caused a lot of the rifts on this list to worsen over his presidency. Major disagreements from the Bush-era war on terrorism and other foreign policy issues are at least partly to blame for Spain's 60% disapproval rating. Not to mention they don't have a ton of faith in Trump, so that puts a damper on things too. Over the past several years, escalating trade issues with China has led to a 49% disapproval rating. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the button below.